FRIP is the JSE's Financial Reporting Investigation Panel, and maybe in short what it is advisory board, a group of financial reporting experts that will advise the JSE if they get a complaint on a set of financial statements of a company. For an audit committee, it's important to realize that the JSE has got mechanisms to make sure that companies comply with financial reporting standards. One of those mechanisms will be the FRIP. The other one is the one that goes before that, which is the proactive monitoring process. So what an audit committee should be aware of is that those processes exist and that it should pay attention to make sure that it puts its proactive processes in place, that the company actually complies with accounting standards, and as opposed to getting into the uncomfortable position where the FRIP is investigating it and might suggest to the JSE that the company must restate their results. So the objective originally, when the FRIP's predecessor body, which was the GARP monitoring panel, when that was established, was yes, to start monitoring compliance with accounting standards, but not with the intention to beat companies up if they get it wrong, but hopefully with an intention to encourage them to focus on it for various reasons. The one is because as a director and as an audit committee member, you can really get into trouble if you put false and misleading financial information out there in the market, because you're making people make decisions on the wrong information. So you should be held liable, and there is a mechanism in the Companies Act. So that was the one encouragement for companies to get it right, but also for the sake of a company's reputation, because investors make decisions based on in the first instance based on financial information. So it was meant to put it at the forefront, but ideally use it as a carrot for companies to get their processes sorted out so that they have better quality financial reporting. It certainly has improved since the FRIP was established in 2002. So in 2002, you can imagine it came from a period of pretty much almost self-regulation. So there were accounting standards, but nobody checked that companies complied with it. So there were quite a couple of interesting industry practices and so on. There were quite a couple of blatant disregard for accounting standards with so-called fair presentation overrides. We have certainly seen, if you look at the type of cases that come to the FRIP now, the numbers have decreased over time, and the cases are much more complex accounting issues. So it's often not a blatant disregard. There's an exception here and there, but it's often because issues are complex and the standards are sometimes not so clear on how to deal with it, and that's sometimes why companies get it wrong. So certainly, in my view, the quality of financial reporting has improved, maybe partly because of FRIP, I think also because of legal liability and so on, but I would like to believe that the FRIP played a role in improving the quality of reporting. Firstly, if we talk about what audit committees should be doing, audit committees should take financial reporting seriously, not just from a compliance perspective, but really because on the other side of that information, there are real investors, and they make their decisions based on your financial reporting. So audit committees should take it seriously in the sense that they can't just rely on the quality of their finance function and their FD, as well as the fact that those numbers get audited. They must bring something to the table. They must also have the skills to judge and to challenge what goes into the numbers. Then secondly, audit committees should be aware that there are these monitoring processes. Not just get it right so that they don't get into trouble, but also be aware that if something comes out of those monitoring processes, yes, they must put corrective action in place, and part of the corrective action might be, how do we make sure that we improve the quality of our reporting? The question on whether audit committees know what they should be doing. I think there are very good audit committees out there, and many of them that get it right. I think there are still a lack of skills on some audit committees, but I do believe that the quality of audit committee members and the skills of audit committee members have improved because of this elevated role of audit committee. So be aware and do your job properly. That's always a good start. I wouldn't say that audit committees can't take the word or rely on their auditors. I think there is a level of reliance or assurance that you get from an auditor, but that can't be the only thing that you do. Yes, you need those functions and those so-called lines of defense, management, internal audit, external audit, to give you comfort. But if the only thing that you do is just sort of putting all the pieces of the puzzle together, then you as an audit committee is not adding any value, and you're there to actually add value and be more than just a function that ticks boxes to make sure that you comply. So yes, you can rely, but you should also bring something to the table and be proactive and understand what it is that you're looking at, because else you as an audit committee might tick a box, but you don't really understand that there's an underlying issue. So it's about balancing all of those roles and responsibilities. I don't think it will necessarily significantly affect FRIP, because King 4, as a broader governance code, one of the elements that it will look at is financial reporting and the role of audit committees. We'll have to see whether King 4, maybe in its guidance, specifically alludes to the fact that you have to be aware of some of those processes. But I think they meant to support and work together. I don't think they're sort of separate powers that push in different directions. I think ideally, and I think at the moment it works like that it is really hand in glove working together to meet the same objective.